Masterworking and tempering is being taken to the next level very soon. And not only is the rework important for the endgame, also for leveling, since past Radar community manager said in a recent post, also hoping we get people play from level 1 to test the experience with the new changes. On top, there will still be seasonal stuff with the big changes coming. How would you now improve tempering and masterworking? And that is actually pretty simple. The most important part that should happen in the tempering department is that you can keep your tempers. Right now, this helmet has Earthen Bulwark duration. Let's assume I want to keep that 19%, but I would like to upgrade it to 20. So I would now go for defensive, nature magic, which gives me the Earthen Bulwark duration. And if I now press tempering, okay, then I will be able to choose to use the new one, which says Cyclone Armor, or keep the old one. I don't have to go over to the Cyclone Armor cooldown reduction, which I absolutely don't need. No, I could keep my 19%. And then I would go for the next temper. And it would give me something that I, again, don't want. That's not going to be 20% Earthen Bulwark duration. No, it's 10% cooldown reduction, and I don't want that as well. So I still click keep my old one. Alone, that change will make tempering so much better. How often are you caught in just trying to get the next upgrade? I'd like to get chance for Ravens to deal double damage. However, if I only have 2 temper tries left, even 4, I'm not going to risk rolling away getting Wolves deal double damage, Poison Creeper deals double damage, to potentially break my item that I actually enjoy, especially if it has a triple good masterwork. And by giving us then the opportunity to choose to stay with what we had before, instead of replacing it against something useless, would smooth out the process tremendously. Maybe make it too easy, but I'd prefer easy over complete gambling. Now, what about masterworking? And there are a couple of steps that are really important. First, let's take our weapon. We're going to temper it with a werebear, whatevers, and then we're going to sharpen finesse for the ultimate damage. Good. We now have a weapon that has 2 tempers with the ultimate damage and the chance trample to deal double damage. If we're now going to masterwork it, the first step is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and the 4th time we'll make it random. Now, I don't necessarily mind the randomness here. However, what I tremendously mind is that this reset of the masterwork in the first tier costs 5 million gold. You cannot tell me that the devs are not playing with infinite money. Unless you're trading and making a good trade to pick up some money, you're most likely going to run out of, especially as the casual dad mom gamer, right? And if I'm now trying to get, let's say, ultimate damage, I might have to click this button 10 times. That's already 50 million gold gone just for resetting the temper, where I'm anyways getting punished, losing all the resources up the side, iron chunks, veiled crystals, like, right? All these resources are going anyways away for the tempering for the 4 times. Then I'm paying the 5 million on top. That absolutely makes no sense. And the second part is actually resetting all the way to the bottom. Because with my second masterwork, I might be lucky and get the thing I want twice, right? As we have here on the Fists of Fate with double lucky hit chance. Now, I would like to get the lucky hit chance a 3rd time. However, if we reset, we're going all the way down to 0. That's terrible. I don't want to go down to 0. What you could do is, you could allow us to bump this up via a menu with a little up and down arrow. So I would like to reset to 4, or I would like to reset to 8. Now this could cost more resources. That would be reasonable. So if I'm saying instead of resetting a 12 item all the way down to 0 again, I would like to reset my 12 item just to 8. And I have to pay a certain amount more of money or resources to make that happen. Still, it would allow me to actually then masterwork the item perfectly to the 3 times orange hit instead of wasting a grand total of 100,000 Opticine, millions of gold, and souls and whatsoever to maybe ever get there. Now, is this going to make it too easy for good players to get their triple masterworks? Probably. However, they anyways get their triple masterworks. If you now make it easy or hard for them, they'll get it, no matter what. Just that the casual player, the normal gamer Andy Dad Bob McQueen, might finally actually see a triple masterwork that he wants without offering up his soul to Cthulhu or whatever. Both of these changes to the tempering and the masterworking would tremendously allow us to have more deterministic feeling while crafting, and not just the RNG, while still keeping a certain moment of RNG with a 25% or with getting a high roll on a certain stat. And on top, we get our temper reset scrolls, which are actually working fantastic to then play into what we're actually doing. Now, one thing though has to change on top of this, and that would be re-rolling stats. Because right now, if I'm actually trying to get something out of this amulet, right? If I'm trying to replace an affix, we all know how impossible that is and how expensive. I do think the money cost can stay. What needs to change is that we only get 2 options. That's probably the biggest nuisance for me right now. Even with putting in a helmet and not having many options to roll things. I mean, these are the options I can roll. There is not much happening. Getting companion skills, ravens, poison creeper, or wolves seems to be virtually impossible. And the same goes for the amulet. If the amulet has a bit more things that it can potentially roll, it has actually a lot of skills. I mean, if you compare how many skills it has compared to other stuff and how many skills this helmet has compared to other stuff, it's still virtually impossible to get anything of this, right? I'm looking for Toxic Claws, I maybe look for Envenom. Unless I drop an amulet with those, I will get all the other stuff before I get that. By giving us 3 options instead of 2 options, to make it way more likely to finally see something and way less frustrating. Because the gameplay loop literally being, I take an item, I temper it, okay, I succeed in tempering, then I go to the enchanter, and then I'm going to sit here, literally pressing that button, like that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's actually 2 ranks in Venom, so I skipped that. Lucky. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just going to be sitting here and you're going to press that button now so many times until you're getting numb and you don't want to press it anymore. That's not good gameplay for me. That's just really frustrating and boring and annoying, and you just see your money drain away. And especially you see your money drain away, and after clicking it then 20 times, you have nothing. You've just lost money, and it was just pain, it was just gambling, it was just annoying. I think giving us 3 options would massively make this a better, good feeling. And as we're talking about crafting, we might also have to look at the mythic items and how impossible it is for players without the expansion to actually craft something they want, but also how absolutely shitty rune drop rates are, and how sometimes it just feels, without trading, completely impossible to craft the one you're looking for. For me personally, I always go here and I completely mambo jambo YOLO gamble, just throw in and hope that I get what I want. And I luckily did get what I want. But that can't be the thing. I'm sorry. I can't gather runes. I mean, I have leveled up 5 characters now to 60. I've brought them all to pit 100. And I maybe have some legendary runes. But by no means do I have even close to six of one of these runes, despite farming a lot of the tributes that give you runes and lair boss mats to kill more lair boss mats to get all this stuff. Either drop the requirements of the runes to 1 of each, maybe 2 of each, tops 3, but making it 6 is just a joke. It's already hard to get the resplendent sparks, hard. But making it even harder getting the runes, you're not making this more fun. You're just making it a chore that is not even enjoyable, because you might just literally, I might never get 6 Ahoo. I have 5 characters to 60 and pip 100, and I got 1 single Ahoo on my character that I trade between 3 characters that all need that Ahoo. Unless I'm trading, I cannot solo self-hound this. And at the moment where I solo self-hound this, I'm already done with this season. Because that's the problem. I'll be done before I meaningful get what I'm looking for. Before I get the triple masterwork I'm looking for. I'm going to be done. I'll never actually care about getting that triple masterwork because it's so annoying. It's going to slow me down. Beating the season, beating the seasonal journey is going to make it less likely that I even get to that point by making it so hard. I'm never going to see a perfect amulet until I trade for it, unless I get super lucky, and then I'm again done with the season. So where's the sense making to make systems that are not even being explored due to being so far out of reach that you never interact with them then to the very end of things? That seems a bit backwards to me. Everyone should be able to get the triple masterwork. And it's still not going to be easy, super easy, because you have to get the materials. You have to farm for the materials. And then you still have to try around to actually get the perfect roll, right? Getting the chance to Ravens deal double damage then to 42.5% is still not just going to happen like this. You still have to work for it. You still have to get there. However, with then the possibility to reset and keep, you could also just say, I'm happy with this. At least I tried. But most likely you're going to end up often saying, I got my double greater affix weapon, my single greater affix weapon. It's already looking nice. I'm not going to risk some of the last temper attempts, especially after using your scroll to then ruin everything. Nah. You're just going to be, I'm fine. I'm never going to see max damage, but that's okay. And that's the way how it works with many systems in Diablo, that you just say, I'm okay. I don't need to see the end, right? I don't need to see what's maximum possible for my character, or even halfway possible for my character, as I can achieve my goals with also a shittier character. But that's sad, because, I mean, isn't it in ARPGs to make like good, strong characters and max them out? And you might notice how none of my items is like aiming for double Masterworks. 5 humanity. I'd like to have like that greater affix and then triple Masterwork potentially, or even the willpower triple Masterwork there, right? I don't bother, because the current system makes it too annoying. The current system makes me spend 5 million golds for resetting, and even resources. What is this? Why do I have to pay a Forgotten Soul for resetting a Masterwork, right? It's only one Forgotten Soul, but if I have to reset the Masterwork 20 times, then it's 20 Forgotten Souls. And if I have to reset it 30, 40, and I have reset over 1,000 times this season already. That's so much material that just gets gone for resetting, but why? That makes no sense. And that was only talking about the endgame. Again, we said at the beginning, hoping we get people to play from 1 to test the experience. With the combat changes, with the tempering and masterworking changes, with the new seasonal stuff, with renown changes too, and player defense and healing changes. What does that mean? That's quite a lot of different things going into our equation. Maybe we finally have a good renown track that does something for us, that gives us experience. Because currently I always do the strongholds every single season. If you now give me some kind of checklist, like do 3 strongholds in Kyovachan, do 3 dungeons in Kyovachan, and then like, you get some loot boxes. That would make leveling a bit more interesting, because I could then choose for zone to go through, right? To get my renown up. But please never reset this renown track. I mean, remove this, make this permanently available for every character, right? And then give us a fun renown track that is optional, but still interesting to interact with, like the seasonal journey probably, per season, to just give us interesting things. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? What would you like to see for the tempering and masterworking changes? Definitely play the PDR up and coming and throw it in their faces, because they need to know what we think. We want a good system. We want tempering and masterworking 2.0 to be amazing. And if you now want to play an absolute amazing druid, hardcore possible, enjoy. Take care.